Did you know there's ways to handle customers and to getting an ATM into a location that you want to do? Hi, I'm Phil from PDQ Merchant Enterprises and the ATM Mastermind Group page, and we help hundreds of aspiring ATM owners go from 0 ATMs to ATM Business Pro in as little as 30 days. Always remember, here at PDQ Merchant Enterprises and the ATM Mastermind Group page, we buy your freedom back one transaction at a time. All right, without further ado, the top 5 hardest sales that I ever had to do. Lesson number 1. This is a big one for me, and I didn't like doing it, but I learned after getting beat up a lot that it was easier to do this. Sometimes you just gotta walk away. You just gotta walk away from the deal. It's not a good business for you. The deal didn't make sense. There's not enough revenue in it. And you know what? The owner wants a little too much. So you just gotta walk away and learn to walk away and expect all the time to walk away if the deal doesn't work out. Don't be so excited about getting the deal when the deal doesn't make sense. So learn to walk away. Point number 2. The location owner is asking too much of the surcharge. Let's say you got a $3 surcharge. Let's say they want $2, they want $1.50, and you're just walking into the situation. You don't know how much it's going to do. You know how much commission. You're even willing to come back and say, you know what, I'll do a sliding scale. If you do X amount of transactions, I'll pay you a little bit more. But they have to be a proven location with statistics, with revenue reports, and it's a new location, so they don't have anything, but they want half or they want more than half. Those are deals that, as I said in the first one, I walk away, but I try to structure those deals into a win-win for me. Hey, we'll start it out at 50 cents. If you do X amount of transactions, I'll give you a little bit more, and then let the location prove to me, the ATM owner, that it's going to be viable to share that increase of revenue with you. I don't mind doing it, but I have to see something. Because a lot of times when I was starting out, I was giving them too much. They never did what they said they would do. They never opened a store owner. They went to credit cards. They didn't give me what I needed to get more transactions. And so then it just fell apart. And in the meantime, I'm giving them half of the revenue when the only reason I was going to give them half the revenue in the beginning is because of transactional volume. And they didn't hit those numbers. So what I learned is to put it on a sliding scale. If they do X, then they get Y. We always talk about X and Y, but those were a hard sell because hey, I was a nice guy. I was in business. I wanted to help these guys. I wanted to help myself. I wanted to make a name for myself, the friendly ATM guy. And you know what? At the end of the day, I'm friendly. The store wasn't. So I learned, you know what? I got to stand my ground. I hope you guys do too. But you know what? When they ask a little too much of the surcharge, we go back to point number 1, just walk away. So if you're interested in starting your own profitable ATM business but didn't know where to start, so stay to the end of the video and I will show you a checklist how you can start the right way even if you have 0 ATM experience and 0 business experience. In this checklist, I will share with you 5 things you need to know to start your very own profitable ATM business so you can build a passive income source for your family. You'll have a clear roadmap towards ATM business success so that you can earn between $250 and $1,500 of passive income. All right, so let's get back to the video. So lesson number 3, sometimes, and especially now, I see a lot of it, depends on where you're at, but I see it in the chats. A lot of guys are out there, even some women, and they're talking to store owners. They're like, look, I heard you want an ATM. My buddy told me you want an ATM. You go down to the store and the owner is saying, you know what? I want an ATM in here, but I'm worried about it break-ins. I'm worried about this, worried about that. So will you cover any losses that I will incur? Now for us, we do have insurance that covers that, but for you guys just starting out in the game, you might not have that. So one of the things that we did do is I try to push back on that. It's like, look, we can do that, but I can't pay you this commission. I can't pay you how much more commission. You got to sign a longer deal. So I'm always trying to push back to get more commission and a longer deal. But there's a few deals where, I said, okay, no problem. If they break in, I'll pay for, I'll put it up to $1,000 down, or I'll cover the first 500. That way they break your door, they break this, I'll cover it. So that might be something you guys need to do to try to get that spot. Just put a little of that commission that you were going to pay them aside, build up that revenue. Now you got a nice nest egg in case something does happen. And then you know what, if you want to open the door up and say, you know what, I'll give you a little more commission now that we have that, you can do that, or you can just keep the game rolling the way it is that you guys agreed upon when you went in a deal. But that might help you get a location that maybe you couldn't get. Maybe somebody else isn't willing to do that. Maybe you guys are. So there's just another way that you can get a location and help these guys out and help yourself out. Most of the time, it doesn't happen, but you know what? It could, so always keep that in the back of your head. You know what? I could come up out of my pocket $1,000 in a guy's door and some other vandalism. Point number 4, this was a hard lesson to learn myself and it made it a hard sale, is what happened is we had a great location, we're doing a lot of money, and then what happens is the business owner sells. And they don't sell the business corporation, which was tied into my location agreement. They just sold the assets of the business. Now this new store owner comes in, the old owner told him how much they were making on an ATM, and he says, you know what, I got 2 more stores over here. I got my own ATM. I'll buy that ATM for you, make it less painful. But at the end of the day, I just want to buy that ATM. So now I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm going to lose this good location. I don't like that. So I try to get myself in the deal. We do like a service agreement, and that way at least we keep our foot in the door. Sometimes it worked out with the service agreement, sometimes it didn't. But at least we kept the processing, we kept this the location, and then that always kept the door open for the next guy. Because sometimes that does happen, and it did happen to us. We had the location, we were vault cashing, we were making good money. A store owner came in, bought the store. They were there for a year and a half, 2 years, and then you know what? They sold it, we came back in. The guy says, hey, I got a new guy come in. I went in, pitched him because now the ATM is older, 4 or 5 years. Hey, I'll give you a brand new ATM. We'll take care of it, soup the nuts. The guy's like, great, I don't want anything to do with that ATM. And we were right back in making money in a deal. So sometimes you take a little bit of beating. It was a hard lesson to learn because I don't like walking away from money. But if I was thinking about the longer time, then it made sense. And I told myself, hey, you know what? Let's think about tomorrow and not today. So that was a hard lesson to learn, but it worked out in the long run. And point number 5, one of the hardest things I ever had to do is not sign a location agreement. In the beginning, we weren't signing location agreements, so I was in the ATM business. And then a lot of times we end up losing because somebody came in an extra 10 cents, gave an extra quarter, and you know what? We lost location. So I would say, hey, you know what? We had to sign a location agreement. And in the beginning, it was hard because a lot of guys push back. Oh, I don't want to sign a contract. That's not what I want to do. I got guys coming in here all the time. And you know what? That's fine. Let them come in. I'm not doing the deal because I know with the location agreement, I can dictate how much surcharge is going on. We have a binding agreement, and it put me in a position of strength. And that's where I want to be. But in the beginning, it was a very tough sale, but know what I'm doing and how to do it. Always remember, it's not necessarily what you're doing, but how you're doing it. And so if you had the right formula of how to get them to sign a location agreement, it became super easy. A lot of failure on doing it. And you know what? A lot of times I don't eat crow, so to speak, and I didn't get the deal done. And I end up, I had a 5-year agreement. They only signed a 1-year agreement. They didn't want to sign an agreement. So it took me years and years of skill of how to do that. But we learned the process, and you know what? I got about a 95% close rate on them signing a location agreement. A lot of guys out there say, oh, Phil, why would they ever sign a location agreement? Because I know how to sell it, so it makes sense for them, and it protects them and also protects us. So those are one of the things that you guys got to learn how to do, but it's a very particular skill set that you have to develop in the ATM business. Once you got it down, boom, you get it almost every time. And again, I'm about 9 out of 10, a little higher, almost 9.5, but hey, you know what? I'm working on getting close to 10 out of 10. So if you're interested in starting your own ATM business, I want to invite you to my free ATM business checklist entitled ATM Business Passive Income Checklist. Top 5 things you need to start a profitable ATM business. Where I'll share with you the 5 things you need to start your profitable ATM business so you can start earning passive income, make more money for your family, and spend more time with your family. So click the link down below to get this free ATM business checklist. Always remember, here at PDQ Merchant Enterprises and the ATM Mastermind Group page, we buy your freedom back one transaction at a time. Thank you guys very much.